Is the Knoxville, Tennessee real estate market going to crash? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Eric Whitener with the Knox Fox Real Estate Group, and today I want to give you some insight into the real estate market. If you've been watching the news lately, then you've been hearing a lot of stuff about inflation, rising interest rates, and affordability issues, giving people a lot of concern that we might be heading into a housing market crash. The housing market crash of 2008 was unprecedented, and it impacted a lot of people. So there's a lot of reason for concern. And even though today's housing market may feel like the run up to 2008, there are some major differences. So in this video, I'm going to lay it all out and give you my opinion. But before I do so, let's take a second to hit that subscribe button so that you can get more videos on East Tennessee and the local housing market. The first major difference from today to 2008 is going to be mortgages. Today's lending standards are way tighter than they were in the early 2000s. If you've applied for a mortgage in the last several years, then you know that to get a mortgage, you have to be highly qualified. You have to have a good credit score. You have to have a good debt to income ratio, and you have to verify everything with documentation. Way different than the early 2000s. So what that means is that today's homeowner is much less likely to default on their loan. So when homeowners are less likely to default, that means they're less likely to go into foreclosure. But we've all been waiting for that wave of foreclosures that were supposed to happen after the pandemic hit. But that never really came about. Now we're hearing about this massive increase in foreclosures, like this article talking about 150% increase in foreclosures year over year. But the truth of the matter is we're still below pre-pandemic levels of foreclosures. Matter of fact, in our area, we hardly have any foreclosures on the market. One of the reasons why foreclosures are so low is because homeowners today have a ton of equity. We've literally had double-digit appreciation for the last several years. So even if a homeowner were to have financial hardship and found themselves in a position where they couldn't make their mortgage payment, instead of walking away from their house, they could sell their house and actually walk away from the closing table with a bundle of cash. Very different than post-2008, where many homeowners found themselves in a position where their home was worth less than what they owed. In those circumstances, that people just gave their homes back to the bank. Now let's talk about inflation. Inflation's a scary word that impacts just about every part of our life. But the truth of the matter is that real estate is an asset that historically appreciates during times of inflation. So with that being the case, you actually want to own real estate in a time of high inflation. And then we have the recession, or maybe the recession. I'm not sure. Are we in a recession? Let me know in the comments below if you think we're in a recession or not. But with that given, even if we're in a recession or going into a recession, historically, homes still appreciate during the time of recession. Matter of fact, 4 out of the last 6 recessions, home prices appreciated. And one of those times that homes did not was due to the 2008 market crash. Kind of makes sense because housing was the reason we had the recession. The biggest thing you want to look at when looking at the housing market is supply and demand. And supply would be our inventory, or homes on the market. And inventory is definitely increasing even in our area. Year over year, we have 33% more homes on the market than we did. And that may sound bad if we left it just there. But the fact of the matter is we're still 33% lower than we were before the pandemic. But when considering what it takes to have a market crash, let's look at 2008. We're actually 73% below the inventory levels of 2008. It's really hard to have a market crash when you have little inventory on the market. Let's look at the demand side of that equation. Demand is still high, especially here in East Tennessee. With our mountains, lakes, moderate climate, low taxes, and overall affordability, people are looking to move here from all over the country, keeping demand for housing very high in our area. The bottom line is the Federal Reserve is trying to slow down the housing market to help fight inflation and to slow home price appreciation to a more healthy level. The fact of the matter is we're far from a housing crash just based on supply and demand and how healthy our current real estate market is. I hope you found this video informative, so please leave a comment down below. And if you want to know more about the Knoxville area, check out our other videos or visit our website at theknoxfox.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Eric Whitener with the Knox Fox Real Estate Group, and I'll catch you in the next video.